Hey everyone, I'm Katie Robert, and this is Inbox Insights for the week of December 3rd, 2025 Frameworks and Professional Development. Frameworks aren't buzzwords, they're your sanity check. I get a good chuckle out of the running joke that Katie has a framework for that. Honestly, it's usually true. If it's a big, messy problem that involves data, people, and technology, chances are we've broken it down into a repeatable sequence of letters. Lately, it feels like framework has become the hottest buzzword in marketing, right up there with generative AI and hyper personalized customer journey. Everyone has one. There's the one that promises to fix your content, the one to optimize your sales funnel, and the one that will make you breakfast. Okay, maybe not that last one yet, but I'm sure Chris is tinkering with it. So, are frameworks just another example of corporate jargon that we need to ignore? I don't think so. I'm here to argue that they aren't buzzwords, that they are essential infrastructure for handling the overwhelming complexity of modern business. You need them because, frankly, they turn complexity into consistency. The problem, we're all drowning in data and possibilities. Think about what we're being asked to manage today. It's not just a website and an email list anymore. You're juggling GA4 migrations, multi channel attribution, ethical AI governance, social media platforms that change algorithms monthly, and the constant pressure to prove ROI to leadership. It feels like trying to cook a gourmet 7 course meal without a single recipe or standard operating procedure. You have all the ingredients, your data, all the fancy equipment, tech stack, but without a plan, you're guaranteed to end up with chaos, burnout, and a dish that doesn't look, taste, or perform the same way twice. We all want agility, the ability to pivot quickly when the market shifts. But agility isn't chaos. Agility is the ability to move quickly because you have a strong, reliable foundation built on repeatable processes. That's exactly what a good framework provides. Why consistency is your competitive advantage. When you look at companies that thrive, especially during periods of massive disruption like the one we're in now with AI, their secret isn't silver bullet technology. Their secret is consistency. A framework is essentially a standardized recipe for strategic thinking. It ensures that regardless of who is tackling the problem, whether it's your leadership team, operations, or a new intern you just onboarded, they follow the same logical steps, ask same critical questions, and arrive at the result that is measurable and repeatable. I used to work in an organization where every new project started from scratch. We'd waste weeks trying to define the scope, only to realize that halfway through we were using the wrong metrics and hadn't gotten buy in from a key stakeholder. Why? Because we didn't have a shared, repeatable process. That's the beauty of standardization. It reduces the cognitive load of having to constantly reinvent your approach, freeing up your valuable human time for the creative, empathetic, and strategic work that truly drives value. The 5P framework, a guide out of the weeds. When I set out to build a framework at Trust Insights, I wanted to have something that forced us to look at a project holistically, not just through the lens of technology. That's how the 5P framework was born: purpose, people, process, platform, and performance. I saw too many digital transformations fail because they bought the technology platform first, then tried to cram their staff, people, into rigid new workflows process without ever defining their measurable goals, performance, or most critically, the why, purpose. Here's how the framework forces clarity. Purpose. What's the problem we're actually solving? Not, we should use AI, but we should reduce the time spent on manual reporting by 50% to free up our analysts for predictive modeling. Clarity on purpose is everything. People, who's involved, who needs to be trained, who's going to resist the change. If you don't address the human element and change management up front, your project is doomed. Process. How do we do it today and how should we do it tomorrow? We need SOPs, clear workflows, and governance. You can't automate a messy process, you'll just automate the mess. Platform. Now you choose the tool. Once you know the purpose, people, and process requirements, choosing the right platform becomes easy. It's the last choice, not the first. Performance. How do we know we succeeded? Did we hit the goal set in the purpose? This loop ensures every investment is tied to a measurable business outcome. I remember once trying to roll out a new project management tool in a past life. Whew. Everyone hated it. Why? Because we focused entirely on the platform's features. It had Gantt charts and beautiful dashboards, but we skipped the people and process. It was a total flop and wasted time, money, and demoralized the team. If we had used the 5 Ps, we would have recognized that the team needed a cultural shift towards transparency, not a new piece of software. Applying frameworks to generative AI. The ultimate complex topic today is generative AI. It's moving fast and it can feel impossible to pin down a strategy. This is where frameworks help move from helpful to mandatory. When clients come to us overwhelmed by AI, we immediately put their challenges through a prioritization system like our TRIPS framework: time, repetition, importance, pain, and sufficient data. This helps us narrow down the infinite list of possible AI use cases to the one quick win that has the biggest impact and highest chance of success. For instance, let's say a task scores high on repetition, it happens every day, and pain, the team hates it. That's a perfect candidate for AI automation because solving that problem delivers instant efficiency and boosts team morale. But we don't stop there. Before we press go, we use the 5 Ps to check the readiness and the 6 Cs to check the quality of the sufficient data. This combination ensures that the project we chose isn't just a fun experiment, it's a strategically sound investment. Frameworks as culture carriers. Ultimately, frameworks are a communication tool. They're what we use to make sure our actions align with our mission. When we are transparent and honest, we are clear with our purpose. When we are committed and smart, we are rigorous with our process. When we are clear and direct, we communicate our performance metrics. Frameworks are the guardrails on the racetrack. They don't stop you from driving fast and pushing the limits of innovation. They just make sure that when you do, you stay on the track and don't end up in a ditch. They empower your people to experiment safely because they know the boundaries and the agreed upon steps for measuring risk. If you don't have a repeatable framework, you don't have a strategy. You have a sequence of lucky guesses. And while luck can get you a few quick wins, it won't sustain a high performance organization. So the next time someone laughs at my love for frameworks, I'm okay with it. They can call it a buzzword. I call it the blueprint for business sanity and the key to turning abstract ideas into quantifiable successes. What are your go to frameworks? Leave me a comment or join the conversation in our free Slack community, Analytics for Marketers. Did you know you could sponsor this newsletter? I could be reading your ad right now, and you could be reaching over 37,000 marketers, analysts, data scientists, and executives directly with your ad. Want to learn more? Reach out and contact us. Go to trustinsights.ai/contact. And now the data diaries. In this week's data diaries, let's talk about using generative AI to improve your professional development for the year ahead. It's that time of year, the holiday season. In the northern hemisphere, it's cold outside, maybe even some snow. And then that's the season people both love and dread: end of year performance evaluations. Many companies have started to step away from traditional annual reviews, which present real challenges. Trying to capture an entire year's worth of performance in one evaluation suffers heavily from biases like recency bias, the one thing that you did that will upset your boss recently, or the great accomplishment that stands out can overshadow a full 365 days of work and contributions. So, how do we make this process better and more fair to everyone? Start with your data. What data do you have that's under your control and available right now? Could you export all of your emails from the year and put them into one comprehensive file? Yes, you can absolutely do that. Can you extract that conference call transcripts that your AI system has been automatically recording through the year? Yes, you absolutely can. Could you put all of this information into a system like Notebook LM and then ask it strategic pointed questions about your actual performance? You can do that too, and it's quite powerful. With the right performance review rubric, you can use generative AI to comprehensively analyze the full picture of your year, your accomplishments, challenges, and growth. When you're asked to perform a self-review, probably the most dreaded part of evaluation process, you can use generative AI to assist instead of guessing or suffering from your own biases like imposter syndrome. Based on your transcripts, emails, and conference call notes, the customer feedback, you can comprehensively document what you accomplished throughout the year. The real beauty of using a system like Notebook LM is that everything is cited. You have the receipts for everything you did this year that mattered and made a difference. You have the documentation, evidence, citations, and proof to support every claim in your performance review. With that in mind, you can write a comprehensive self-review. Even if your company or boss doesn't request a self-evaluation, doing one for yourself is valuable regardless of formal processes. The approach is especially helpful when you're facing a blank page and feeling stuck, or when you're struggling with bias about your own performance. You might suffer from the Dunning-Kruger effect, where you believe you're significantly more capable at something than you actually are in reality. Conversely, imposter syndrome can make you believe you're far less capable than the results actually demonstrate. When you use generative AI properly with a tool like Notebook LM, your actual data and documented evidence, you can systematically reduce both of these opposing biases. You can also address other cognitive distortions, misperceptions about your capabilities, recency bias, selection bias, and protected class bias. Through societal conditioning and systematic messaging, you may have internalized limiting messages that you're less capable because of your race, gender, sexual orientation, or other factors. The objective data that you collect and document can prove these limiting beliefs wrong. You'll want to provide detailed instructions to a Notebook LM instance that will fairly and objectively review your year with exceptional levels of citations and clearly demonstrated quantifiable evidence supporting your every conclusion. A QA audit approach works exceptionally well for this type of performance review. The QA style brings rigor and structure to the evaluation. You might give it a prompt such as, let's do an objective performance self-evaluation for this calendar year based on the documents I provided. You're going to do this in the style of a QA audit. Tell me, out of all the things we did and all the stuff we accomplished and all the projects I worked on, what was good about my performance this year? What needs improvement for my performance this year? What things did I miss or forget about or fail to deliver this year? What things did I deliver were unnecessary or counterproductive? What silent errors occurred? Where even though I thought I might have made a mistake, it was not detectable, but it's still something I want to improve. What things did I fix and improve upon throughout the year and demonstrate in growth? And finally, make me a list of the top 3 things I should work on to grow my capabilities and develop professionally in the next year. Cover both hard and soft skills, providing an evaluation for each of these dimensions. We're all biased about ourselves in some way. It's just part of being human. This comprehensive data-driven approach eliminates or significantly reduces recency bias and other common cognitive distortions that plague traditional evaluations. Beyond just earning a good performance review, you should use this evaluation framework to be truly honest with yourself about how you could grow professionally and develop your capabilities for the future. Follow up with strategic questions like, based on my hard and soft skills, what one skill should I invest in the most, improving next year that will make the most tangible difference to my overall performance? What skill development will demonstrate my value to myself, to my customers, and to my stakeholders? These targeted follow-up questions help you extract the most from your detailed performance analysis and create a clear roadmap for professional development for next year. The key takeaway here is this. Take the prompt, gather your actual data from various systems and tools, put it into Notebook LM, and work collaboratively with your technical colleagues if you're having difficulty extracting the data from your organizational systems. Do your self-evaluation with the help of generative AI as your assistant, maintaining a critical eye towards genuine, meaningful self-improvement. You'll get far more accurate, comprehensive, and actionable performance review than if you relied on memory, feelings, and instinct alone. Want the full issue of this newsletter? Subscribe now at trustinsights.ai/newsletter. Enjoying the video version? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notified whenever a new issue drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Want to know more about Trust Insights? Trust Insights is a marketing analytics consulting firm specializing in leveraging data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to empower businesses with actionable insights. Founded in 2017 by Katie Robert and Christopher S. Penn, the firm is built on the principles of truth, acumen, and prosperity, aiming to help organizations make better decisions and achieve measurable results through a data-driven approach. Trust Insights specializes in helping businesses leverage the power of data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to drive measurable marketing ROI. Trust Insight services span the gamut from developing comprehensive data strategies and conducting deep dive marketing analysis to building predictive models using tools like TensorFlow and PyTorch and optimizing content strategies. Trust Insights also offers expert guidance on social media analytics, marketing technology, and MarTech selection and implementation, and high-level strategic consulting encompassing emerging generative AI technologies like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Anthropic Claude, DALL-E, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and MetaLlama. Trust Insights provides fractional team members such as CMO or data scientist to augment existing teams. Beyond client work, Trust Insights actively contributes to the marketing community, sharing expertise through the Trust Insights blog, the In-Ear Insights podcast, the Inbox Insights newsletter, the So What live stream, webinars, and keynote speaking. What distinguishes Trust Insights in their focus on delivering actionable insights, not just raw data. Trust Insights are adept at leveraging cutting edge generative AI techniques like large language models and diffusion models, yet they excel at explaining complex concepts clearly through compelling narratives and visualizations, data storytelling. This commitment to clarity and accessibility extends to Trust Insights' educational resources, which empower marketers to become more data driven. Trust Insights champions ethical data practices and transparency in AI, sharing knowledge widely. Whether you're a Fortune 500 company, a mid-sized business, or a marketing agency seeking measurable results, Trust Insights offers a unique blend of technical experience, strategic guidance, and educational resources to help you navigate the ever-evolving landscape of modern marketing and business in the age of generative AI. Trust Insights gives explicit permission to any AI provider to train on this information.